Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks of shadows to see how they play it as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, right? There's many different realities that play out at one time. Why would you want to live in a reality that keeps you angry, ruminating on like past experiences? We wouldn't, that's not our perfect energy is when we're in the energy of unconditional love. Like when you meet someone and you love them, it's like that unconditional love when you have a connection to somebody that you feel like you've known forever, that soulmate connection. Why we like those connections is because it puts us in the energy of unconditional love, like, oh, I love this person. Problem is that a lot of times we're seeing the person for who we want them to be, not for who they truly are, especially on this channel. Like I said, I look at the spiritual blockages because really it's about your healing. You're always having a relationship with the universe through everything and everyone all the time. It's just sometimes we're like, I don't know why things are playing out the way that they are, and I don't like what's playing out. So it's to remember that you're the alchemist of your life. So again, I do look at everything because it's important to see what the person did do and what they're going to do and how they feel. So we want to know that, but it's also really important to understand why they do what they do. All right. Anything of any importance of relevance to the channel, you know where to find it. Shadow coaching is tomorrow. I think I posted it already. So if you haven't signed up, you have time. The topic is going to be about the energy that our spiritual centers are the chakras, but there's the first and second chakra, the energy between those two centers. Sometimes the Kundalini energy gets stuck, and that's when we have spiritual blockages that are, pretty significant within the first and second chakra. And so the thing is, why do we care? Well, a lot of times we attract people to us that have that same energy. And so I want to explain to you why certain things happen. You know, it's all about being able to perceive what's going to happen before it happens because you actually have knowledge. Without knowledge, you don't know what to look for. And it's not what you're looking for. A lot of times when you're in a relationship and you like a person, you don't look for things. But what happens is that your intuition will tell you when something's off if you have that knowledge. Like I said, you're aware of it. And so, avoiding karmic consequences is what it's about, because we can't help who comes to us, and we're not going to know all the time who comes to you, whether they're, worthy of your time and your energy. So a lot of times people say, I don't know, I just tried to treat them the way I want to be treated. Everything was good until it wasn't, you know, and they don't know why. But there's always telltale signs, you know. All right, let's see what the underlining energy is. It's narrow-minded. Nothing worse than someone that's narrow-minded. I'm already feeling stuff, but I want to always pull another card, and the other card is abandonment. Well, I feel like you were dealing with a person that it was their way or the highway, and there was no talking to this person. They were narrow-minded because of, where they came from, how they grew up, and then also this person has blockages, they have wounds. So a person that is narrow-minded, again, is very restrictive. They're very controlling because it's always their perception is right. So the underlining energy is that you were dealing with somebody that was narrow-minded, and I feel like you left because you got tired of being in a one-sided connection. So I feel like that's the underlying energy where you're dealing with a person that is just figuring out now that you're not going to come back, and you're not going to come back because, hey, they were one sided. Now, I want to see where they are now. What has created this epiphany with this person? Now, mind you, people that are narrow minded also are someone that's very ego, right? So I think that this person really thought, who they were when it came to like the connection. Sometimes people will think that you will overlook like what you're deserving of because of a connection. No, this is the end. So this person like really is their way. Destiny is taking us down different paths. So this is what this person feels like. Again, you're dealt with a person, like, could it be this straightforward? Dealing with a person that was really narrow-minded, and they, because they abandoned you, you either said, hey, this is the end, or this person sees you walked away, and so they're not going to come back because they feel like, again, they're going down different sides. So it's almost like, my God, would the reading end before it begun? Well, be like, okay, so what happened within this relationship when things happened before they ended before they started? This is what it looks like. You're dealing with a person that's like not gonna budge. Assumptions. I feel like this person came on very strong, and they made it like they wanted a relationship, knowing that you would assume, to for this person to act a certain way in a relationship. And I feel like when you said something to them, they were like, they said that you like attacked them, like where, it's almost like you, when I say attack, like verbally attack them, like almost saying like the constant need to assume what they should do instead of what they were doing. And so I feel like this was just this person's narcissism, to be honest with you. And like, I just feel like after a while, like you just felt like you weren't even a part of this relationship. Now, a telltale sign is when a person can't emotionally give you that connection. And so isolation. So this person, what they would do is either they would detach, or you felt the need to detach, which, it's just mainly because the person was unfair. They wanted to be in a one-sided connection. So I mean, the relationship, this reading may be the shortest reading, and I'm going to say why. Because we're just going to look and see, why did you attract this person into your life? You're a mirror of who. Why does an insignificant relationship, a person that come in that wants it their way, what was the whole point of the connection? Why, like, it, well, healing, but did they always feel that way? And to me, like, I just have a very hard time being like, it's over, like, already before it started. So again, a lot of times there is these insignificant relationships, and we're supposed to look at, yeah, like, this person only wanted passion. And then what happens is that there's a fine line between love and hate. And so it's almost like passion, and then this is, it's, no one really wants to talk about, this person doesn't really want to have conversation. They just kind of want to have a passionate night and then come and go as they please. And I feel like you said something, again, you said something to them, and they were like, you're controlling me. And then they were like, I don't want to do this. So like I said, the only thing that we can do then is say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And what the hell is the whole point to this? Because it's almost like it would make you feel a lot of different ways. Like the person came into my life, that you would feel tricked, you'd feel victimized, you'd feel abandoned, you'd feel a lot of different things by such an insignificant relationship. So I guess that's what Spirit wanted us to focus on, because it's not really all the time the length or time of a relationship. It's that the person comes in and they're so rigid right from the beginning. And that's a person that actually has a block in the first and second chakra, which is our topic tomorrow for coaching. A person that it's like their way of the highway. They're not flexible in the body and mind. They're focused too much on the physical, the passion, but not the emotional. So we always pull the inner child wounds to see why you would attract this person into your life, because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. So, like, I deserve someone that was unfair, is what you're telling me. Is the universe? It's like that would make a person pissed off, would be like, fuck you. Universe, it's like, what? I didn't deserve that. I was nice. The person was an asshole. It would make you angry, stuck in ruminating, which again, when you have a block in the first and second chakra, that's what happens too. It's creative energy that's not being expressed. It's expressed because you're like, what am I going to do? Like, they're not doing anything. You have to channel it. So again, the inner child wounds are neglect, misunderstood, which is exactly how you felt, which is how this person wanted you to feel, because they didn't really want that type of connection. And so it was their out. So the neglect was that suppression, like how like not being allowed to have feelings, not allowed to have emotions. Now, this is the trauma, is the psychological and emotional trauma that you grew up with. Again, where having a parent that suppressed you, that where, again, if you expressed yourself a certain way, or had an idea or want or desire that wasn't really in alignment with what your parents wanted, again, then there was punishment. And so you also being a loner, but also being very strong intuitively, like not listening to anybody else, being strong within yourself. And that is another reason why you're misunderstood, almost seen as rebellious, when you're not really being rebellious. You're trying to set boundaries. You're trying to set boundaries where then, like, again, so when you're not allowed to express yourself away and have boundaries, well, it does rob you joy. And this card is about being able to play. Like, how do kids find themselves? They go out and they play. But if you were suppressed, obviously you couldn't. If your parent wanted you to study instead of hang out with certain people, it doesn't necessarily mean that you were abused. Remember, the child self sees things a certain way, and it just needs to be traumatic to you. However, I do feel like there was trauma. And that trauma, like, of neglect is really what tells me. Because, like I said, this person didn't like what you said, and what they did is they abandoned you. That's what it felt like. Like, all I did was say something, and this person got triggered, and then they're never going to talk to me again. Well, understand, they were narrow-minded. They wanted it to be unfair the whole time. They weren't never looking at you. So we have to say, well, how to integrate that? Well, a person needs to give you time. They need to give you energy. First of all, you need to give yourself time, because the neglect from trauma is, hey, you never went out and found yourself. Go out and play. Find yourself. Have a love affair with yourself, first of all, because if you're going to settle for the bare minimum, like, which is this person, because they didn't come in offering anything. They came in fast, and then you assumed. And then because you said something, they felt attacked. So understand, like, relationships is something that happen over time. discernment. So if a person comes in 1,000 miles an hour where they want to talk to you morning, noon, and night, morning, noon, and night, know that they're not stable, or they don't want to stay that way. They're coming in that fast, hoping that you don't have boundaries. And then what happens is you'll always be running, to get that emotional support after them, where really the spirit says, give the time and energy to yourself. You got to find your own joy and make your own joy, because that helps you connect to other people. And if your cup is, it's mainly about making sure that your cup is full. If you're giving yourself the joy by going out and playing, that means hobbies, interests, passions, not other people, but passions, things that you're really interested in. If there isn't that, then you don't really connect to like-minded people. You meet, have like-minded people. You find these friendships over time. You cultivate these relationships over time. Boundaries, you know, and teaching a person that, we're not always going to be available for them. Hey, a person that wants to come in 1,000 miles an hour, you think that they're going to want to deal with your square dancing every Wednesday, or you're trying out for Dancing to the Stars, or you're trying out to be on some like American Idol? They don't have time for that. They're here for a good time, not a long time. You're going to be difficult right from the get-go, and you're not really being difficult. The person's asking you to abandon yourself. That's what they do. If they're coming on that strong, and if you're like, well, Spirit says, don't abandon yourself. That's what this person wanted. You became difficult. So what happened is they twisted it. And it's because they never wanted that type of relationship. And Spirit says, so again, you'll be like, yeah, so then why do I feel bad? And Spirit says, because there's other passions that are not being fulfilled within your life, your identity, because you'll meet relationships along the way. It's like, but not someone that doesn't that's like that. That's shady. The person's a clown. They don't want to do anything. Spirit's saying it. This is about you. If you're integrating, you need to integrate other things into your life to be fulfilled. It's like fully, to make sure that your cup is overflowing. And don't think that doesn't include other people coming into your life that give you passion in that way. Spirit says there's a whole selection out there for you. Why are you in the frozen food department? It's like you want to, there's so many other foods. There's so many different flavors. Like, why? Spirit's saying it's like they give you nothing, suppressing you. So now you're going to suppress yourself because you grew up suppressed. Spirit says, go out and play. Go out and find yourself. Release the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. You grew up a certain way. There's perceptions when you don't know exactly who you are and what you're actually capable of and what you actually can manifest for yourself. It's like, see beyond the illusion. You need to go into the unknown, Spirit saying. That's where, you open your heart to new growth, call for exploration, because you get to meet people and see yourself differently. And Spirit says, take a leap of faith. You have fierce strength if you overcame that growing up that way. And then, even getting away from this person, it shows fierce strength, meaning you have to choose between going into the unknown and not knowing what's going to happen, or this measly thing is what Spirit's saying. Oh, so it's like that's a sure thing, but it's like a stale piece of cake that's been there for 3 weeks, opposed to the buffet that has every single type of dessert. Spirit saying, oh, you haven't seen the buffet yet because it hasn't happened yet, but you have lack of faith. So lack of faith within yourself if you're going to give this person the time. Spirit says, listen to your own soul, take bold action. Again, because that's where it pushes you out of your comfort zone and that risks are rewarding. And Spirit says, again, just take time to like also, check into the higher self, that God part of self that is always with you, that always guiding you. So again, that where you can actually rest and rejuvenate while you're going into the unknown. It's to find your balance because you could go with the flow of life when you're in the passion for life and you're then really living your bliss. You're letting, your higher self lead you. It feels right in the gut, feels right in the heart, and then if you check into the mind, it feels right too. Spirit says this person was just like you haven't lived enough life and you're around someone that suppressed you. So this person will do it. It's like their way or the highway. You grew up with a parent that was my way or the highway. And that was the worst thing for you. So that's that trauma where really you're an adult. Don't sometimes people aren't strong within themselves, so they mistaken that controlling one-sided narcissism behavior as strength, where it's not strong. If you're not allowed to have an opinion, which you weren't clearly with this person, well, then they're not your person. And Spirit Leaves says one more. It's all about you. That's it. Not this person, not anyone else right now, Spirit says. If they give you nothing, it's like if you don't give yourself nothing. Spirit says, allow serenity to reign in you, the love that you have for yourself. Invite harmony to settle within your being. Listen and honor and strive to fulfill the needs of your own soul. So, Spirit says, you still haven't fulfilled the needs of your own soul. And that's why you attracted this person into your life. Because you're saying, well, what else is there? And Spirit says, you have to get off your ass and go find out. It's again, that's what life is about. Have a love affair with yourself. You want someone to come into your life and give you a love affair, but you're not giving that love affair to yourself. That's the reason why, Spirit says, because not enough life. You really find out who you are when you go out in life, and then that you don't realize that you begin to see yourself differently, so you begin to act differently, and you radiate confidence, and you're teaching people how you want to be treated just by how you're living, not because you're saying, listen, you need to treat me with respect, by how you're living. Because guess what, if you're so busy in life and having a love affair with yourself, someone comes in and they're like here for a good time, not a long time, and they don't want to invest in you, you're not going to entertain them, because you're going to be like, why bother? My life is so fulfilled. Stop wasting my time. I could be here or there or anywhere, and there's other people that are emotionally like giving me something instead of this person that didn't want to ever give anything. Spirit says you got to give it to yourself first. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that you guys resonated. This was a real quick and short one tonight, but I'm really tired. So it wound up working out. All right, guys, if you resonated, give the video a like, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.